Good afternoon, Oilers Nation. Welcome back to another edition of Oil Spills. My name is Zach Laing. I am the news director and senior columnist here. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about Leon Draisaitl and the ankle injury that he suffered last year in the playoffs. Now, of course, everybody remembers what happened. He was hauled down by Mikey Anderson of the LA Kings, suffering a high ankle sprain, something he played through the entire playoffs with, and actually looked really dominant with one of the best playoff performances of all time, an absolutely legendary performance by Draisaitl. But coming into this season, it sounds like he's still kind of feeling it. He had said this to Post Media's Jim Matheson the other day, quote, "I spent a lot of time working on it, rehabbing it, but it's still there. I still feel it. It's an injury that takes a long time to be completely gone, to be honest," end quote. So obviously Leon Draisaitl is still feeling a little bit banged up and feeling the effects of this injury that he suffered last year. Now, of course, that's far from ideal for any player. You don't necessarily want a player to be really playing through injuries at this point in the season. Of course, we're still in November here. We haven't even gone into December, January, February. There's a lot of important hockey left this season. Now, offensively, it hasn't really hindered Draisaitl very much at all. He's got 9 goals and 28 points in 17 games. He's second in the league in points, tied for 6th in goals, tied for 2nd in assists. Now, a lot of this production is coming on the power play. His 5-on-5 numbers have dipped a little bit from last year. His shooting percentage is fairly low, comparative rather, to his league average. So I would expect some of those numbers to rise. But at 5-on-5 defensively, we've seen a significant drop in a lot of his key underlying numbers. His shot attempts against per hour have risen dramatically. His goals against per hour have risen. His expected goals against have risen. And his high danger chances against have risen as well. Now, what's important to note is that his PDO is staying at a pretty much an even 100 here, suggesting that this is what we are getting out of Leon Draisaitl this year. Now, I think that pairing him alongside Zach Hyman on the second line has actually been a bit of a hindrance for both of those players. When we look at their underlying numbers together over the past, they haven't produced very well offensively or defensively. Now, of course, the Oilers could look to mix that up a little bit, but in the same breath, we have to talk about Leon Draisaitl, and if he actually is playing hurt, what should the Edmonton Oilers do about it? Well, I think what we need to start seeing from the Oilers, especially when it comes to Draisaitl, if he's still hindered by this injury, is considering doing some load management with him. Now, this is something we see in the NBA all of the time, where star players will sit out games or they'll play less minutes in order to rehab injuries or to stay fresh so that they don't become so injured. Now, it's tough in the NHL, in a league that's so gate-driven. When people come to these games, they want to see the superstars play. But at the end of the day, the Oilers need their players healthy into next year and into what will be another attempt at a big playoff run this season for the Oilers. Now, the other option the Oilers could do is just dropping his time on ice as well. He plays a significant amount of minutes right now. Maybe the team looks to cut it back by 3, 4, 5 minutes a night, keep him on the top power play unit, but maybe drop him down a little bit on the depth chart, so to speak. It'll allow him to kind of stay fresh and play a little bit less on that ankle. Now, obviously, offensively, it's great to see this production keeping up for Draisaitl, but these defensive numbers are legitimate cause for concern. He's never been a great driver of play in the defensive zone, but his numbers have never really been this bad either. Of course, we're looking at a small sample size here still. We haven't even hit the 20-game mark this season, so there's tons of time for these numbers to rebound. Nonetheless, it's important to note that right now, we're seeing some real deficiencies in his defensive game. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Drop a note in the comment section below and let me know what you think about Leon Draisaitl. Should the Oilers be looking to bench him a little bit?